You know, the one thing that's always hard about collecting is trying to afford these pieces on a long-term basis. And I used to have a lot of comments on my video saying, when are you going to do a new video? But it's not that simple. You know, for me to do another video, I've got to spend £500, £600, £700, £800, £1,000, £2,000 to buy a collectible to do a review. So it's not something that I can do all the while because they're just too expensive. So I think in this video, what I wanted to do is just answer that question of, are there collectibles, or even are they classed as collectibles out there that are affordable and you don't have to pay thousands of pounds for? The one prop that I always wanted was the Aliens pulse rifle. Now, Hollywood Collectibles, they did one of these going back about 4 or 5 years ago, and I wanted that piece. I must admit, it was very, very tempting. It was a nice replica. It had a few problems, as I recall. It was delayed, and then when it was released, that there were a few quality issues with it. But to be fair, it's still a very nice piece. It was a limited piece. I think they did 2 versions. They did the green, and then they did the brown version of it. But yeah, that was a piece I always wanted. A bit like the motion tracker. I always wanted the motion tracker, and eventually I did get the Master Replica's motion tracker. But I never did get hold of the Hollywood Collectibles pulse rifle. So a few years ago, I was looking on the internet, wondering if there are any alternatives. And if you look on the internet, I think places like YouTube, and you'll actually see working, even real weapons, pulse rifles. Obviously in America, it's not going to happen here in the UK. But what I did come across is that you can also get Airsoft versions of it. But the problem is that the UK versions anyway were because the UK is gun sensitive, which is fair enough, and I'm all for that. They don't want guns to look like a real gun. So although you could get a Master Replica's looking weapon, it wouldn't be in the appropriate colour. So it would be bright blue or bright orange or pink or white or something strange colour, and then you would have an orange cap on the end of it. And so, you know, if you wanted to go down that route, you would have to buy the weapon, and then you would probably have to get it sprayed up to look like an original Aliens pulse rifle. However, I managed to find a company, in fact a few companies in the UK, that were actually stocking the Aliens pulse rifles in the original colours. And I was just trying to think. I was thinking, this can't be real. If I order this, it's going to come in blue or something, even though it's shown it as green. There must be a catch. But I bit the bullet and I picked one up, and this is what I ended up with. So this is a replica of the Aliens pulse rifle, and it was a bargain. And the thing is as well, that the one thing that's so tempting with this, is that it's not just a static prop. Underneath these shrouds, you've actually got a working metal airsoft rifle. Now what that means is that this is not a lightweight piece. This is a very hefty piece. It's also got additional features, which I'll show you in a minute. As you can see, it's got the counter, which is obviously at 95. Now if you load this with the ammunition, which you pull out the cartridge underneath, that counter actually works. So it always starts off at 95, but then when you actually fire the weapon, it will count down to 0. Other features you've got is this front section which slides forward and exposes the cartridge in there. Although I don't think that is was actually shown in the Aliens movie. As well as that, you've also got the stock on the back, which is retractable, so you can set that to any any length that you want. I think, as I recall, there was a bit of an issue with this on the Hollywood Collectibles Group one. I think it was just extremely loose and not particularly well made. This is absolutely solid, simply because it is based on an airsoft rifle underneath. So it's all very solid. It feels good in the hand. You know, as I've mentioned before, I think I mentioned a few years ago that on my prop replicas, I think it's important that you know, when you pick those up, they've got some heft to them, they've got some weight to them. And this is exactly what this has got. This has got good heft. And so you've got a battery actually underneath, which just powers the counter there. Let me just get tracking again, sorry. And then you've also got a battery in the end of the weapon. So you just pull this forward, rotate, and you've got a rechargeable battery in the front. Now that is for the motor which powers firing the airsoft ammunition, which means that when I press the trigger, you get real working weapon. So this is really fun. This is a really fun prop, and it was cheap. This is not expensive. If you consider that the original Hollywood Collectibles Group one was probably, well, in the UK anyway, by the time you paid shipping and import duty and everything, you'd be looking about £1,200 on that, easily £1,200–1,300. And this is why this is a killer deal, because you've actually got an Aliens pulse rifle which is better quality than the Hollywood Collectibles version. And the price for this, listen closely, the price for this was £120, 120 UK pounds. That's about $160, $170 at the moment. That is no money at all. Of course, there is a downside to that. This is not limited, but it's an Aliens pulse rifle. It looks like an Aliens pulse rifle, the same as the Hollywood Collectibles pulse rifle looked like a pulse rifle. But for that kind of money and for what you're getting on this is an absolute steal. So there it is, and here it is that there's proof that you can actually spend very little money and get high quality products. Of course, you're not going to get a display stand with this, so I'll probably build something for this so I can hang this on the wall. But really, £120, that's as good as it gets. I'll do a few more reviews, maybe on this kind of stuff, because I've also got a couple more pieces that I haven't paid a lot for, and the quality is just as good as any other high-end collectible company out there. So keep tuned in.